What is the perfect apple slice for apple pie? Well, it depends on you and your preference. For me, I like to take an apple slicer corer, slice and core my apples, and then I just simply take my apple, flip it upside down, make sure you protect your digits, and slice. Just like so. Mainly what you want to do is you want to just make sure that all your slices are the same thickness. Typically, the thickness is the size of or the height of 2 quarters stacked on top of each other, or 1/8 of an inch. That is my preference. I find that if you tip your slice over this way rather than this way, it's just easier to get those slices to be all the same. Even if the bottom isn't the same, at least if you go from this direction, everything is very uniform. I do this when I make tarts as well, and it just creates a nice, even apple that will all bake at the same rate. How do you know if you have enough apples cut up for your pie plate or your pie dish? What I like to do is cut up all my apples, and I will throw them in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag and pull out some of the air, seal it up, and then I'll just kind of lay it down in my pan just to kind of give me an idea of how much apple it's going to take to fill. So if you are unsure about whether or not you should use 5 apples or 6 apples, you can just simply put all of your sliced apples into a bag and then just see how they sit in your baking dish. Now, for a covered top of dough, so a solid sheet of dough, it's going to be domed a little bit. But if you're doing lattice, you're definitely going to want to make sure it's more flush, so to speak, with a little bit of a rise, because as the apples cook, all of those gaps are going to cause the apples to kind of sink down a little bit. So I would always rather have too many apples and slice them all up than not enough apples, because I can always control how much of my filling I put into the pie plate. Any leftovers, I just simply throw it in a Ziploc bag, a freezer safe one, label it, throw it in the freezer, and then I can pull it out anytime I want to do a quick apple bake, quick little dessert. So that's my tip for figuring out, based on a recipe, what's going to work with your pans. This is a 9.5-inch pan, so a 9.5 pie dish, so I will need more apples based on that. So I have cut up all 6. Also, apples vary in sizes, so by doing this, you kind of get an idea of where you're at. Not every apple is going to be the same weight or produce the same number of slices. So that's my tip.